Exhibiting Forgiveness is directed by Titus Kaphar and stars Andre Holland as Terrell, a wonderful artist with a loving wife played by Andra Day and a young son who seems to be living a great life. When he gets an unexpected visit from his estranged father, Terrell must figure out if it is at all possible for him to reconcile with a man that he has viewed as his biggest demon. I'm not going to mince words here. This is one of the best films of 2024. It caught me completely by surprise and is one of those times where I said to myself as the credits were rolling, this is what going to the movies is all about. It's one of those stories that everyone can relate to in some way. Even if you didn't have a parent that was an addict, as is the case in this movie, it is a universal story that shows the truth about families that so many stories shy away from. It asks questions that every father and child should ask themselves, and it leaves you with a feeling of sadness but also warmth because it is so relatable. Andre Holland gives one of the best performances of the year, in my opinion, here as a tortured soul who doesn't paint because he's good at it, but he is good at it, or he doesn't do it because he wants the fame, he does it because he has to. Just like in the documentary Crumb from 1995, you feel the pain of this man in his paintings. You see him white out a person from a magnificent painting that he made because it represents something that he is tired of dwelling on, but he can't stop himself. Terrell has to paint so he never forgets his pain because his pain is what drives him. But it's not melodrama. It's not 2 hours of showing us this troubled soul having to paint his life because he lives in the past of his life. He's doing it because it's his way of not repeating the same mistakes that he views that his father did. This is a movie about an entire family. We spent a lot of time with Terrell's mother as well. Her name is Joyce, and she is played by Anjuan Ellis Taylor. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. She wants this reunion to happen. She believes that the older they all get, the less time they have to put the wrong things right. So she facilitates this meetup of father and son, and you believe it. This woman who loved this man who that ended up going down a dark path and a son that she loves dearly. She wants them to mend fences and see if there's any way that they can put the past behind them. It's very powerful. That leads me to the father Laron, played by John Earl Jelks. In the first scene of the movie, you see him going through the garbage just to find a drink of water, and you see him foil a robbery at a liquor store, but he gets the snot beaten out of him during that time. But is it a rough life that is irredeemable, or is he a good man that just got trapped in a horrible cycle that so many people do? These kinds of high minded questions are one of these many things that I love about this movie. I can think of very few films that have been released this year that have caused me to think of that kind of emotional level. LaRon has hit rock bottom and becomes born again and wants to not only fix things with his ex wife and his sons, but he also wants to be able to give love to his brother. We don't spend much time with LaRon's brother, but we understand the dynamic and why things are the way they are. This movie doesn't go for the cheap Hollywood material, such as he is only finding Jesus so he can be forgiven for his sins. Yet everyone is weary that he is doing it for genuine reasons, or if will spiral out of control again, or if this is a front for him to get his next fix. It's thought provoking and heartbreaking that it magnificently shows you some events between father and son in flashback. There aren't very many, there's a few of them, but they're so well done. And it allows you to make up your own mind about about the people. He isn't a bad man, but he is a man who felt that he would always be a failure in life and basically kept sinking to the point where it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I had any complaints with this movie, it would be that Terrell's wife is also an artist, a wonderful singer in fact, but they rarely give her time to show her musical talent or to show if her ability to be a musician is given as much priority as his talent for art. In this movie, it seems Terrell's work gets more attention, but how is it normally during their day to day life before their life was uplifted like this? The movie doesn't make it clear, but that isn't a fatal flaw, just a minor gripe for me personally. The way the second half of the story plays out is probably going to be predictable to some, but just because something that happens in life is predictable doesn't mean that it's bad in this movie because certain situations in life have inevitable conclusions. There was a movie a few years ago called Showing Up with Michelle Williams that I loved, and Exhibiting Forgiveness feels like it is following another person from that same circle of people from that film. It's like the next chapter of the story of artists that's been coming out in recent years, and I am all for that. This is a powerful movie that I strongly recommend that you see. It isn't sad for the sake of being sad, it's just real. I feel like these people live somewhere right now, and I liked and disliked all of them on various levels, but in the ways you're supposed to with people. We all have peaks and valleys as people, and sometimes we're likable, but other times we're not. And that's what this movie is, a group of flawed people who are trying to put a shattered piece of life back together. It's a wonderful film. Please see it. I worry that it is not going to get enough attention because it's a low budget indie film, but if you get a chance to see this movie in a theater, please do. I give Exhibiting Forgiveness 4 stars out of 4. It's just a wonderful film. Thanks so much for watching. What did you think of Exhibiting Forgiveness? Please let me know in the comments. Look forward to more reviews soon, and until next time, I am Ghost.